Is the UFC struggling to sell pay-per-views? Like, genuinely, that's the conclusion that I'm kind of have to come to. Because if you haven't been, like, noticing, the UFC has been rumored, like, offered crazy double champion fights for a while. Let me tell you, all the double champ fights that have been alluded, rumored, or just outright offered. We're going to start at the lower weight classes and move all the way up. Pantoja. Pantoja, thankfully, is one of the few champions, if not the only champion, that has said that he's not interested in going up a division and wants to fight at flyweight. That makes sense. Pantoja's in a place where he can dominate flyweight, and in all honesty, I would like to see a fighter compete with Demetrius Johnson, to who, like, somebody needs to dethrone Mighty Mouse, or let's just rename flyweight Mouseweight, honestly, at this point. So Pantoja, there's no double champion fight. And then we go up to bantamweight, Sean O'Malley. O'Malley's already talked about he wants to make Ilia Topuria into his Eddie Alvarez. That's a fight that was rumored right when Ilia Topuria won the title. And is a fight that I think is going to be happening. I think it happens in 2025. I think a lot of these fights are going to happen in 2025 just because of how things are going. Yeah, no, 2025 is going to be stacked in combat sports as well. We just got to make it there. So Sean O'Malley has talked about fighting Ilia Topuria. The only thing that's in the way is that Ilia Topuria says that he wants O'Malley to fight Merab first, then fight Ilia. Which, in all honesty, kind of a baller move. Like, Ilia's a bro for that, okay? You fight the other Georgian, and then you get to fight me. And if Merab beats O'Malley, understand we're not going to be seeing a double champion fight until somebody decapitates Merab Dvalishvili. That's the first double champion fight. Now we go up to Ilia. Ilia Topuria talks about he wants to do one more title defense at bantamweight, then go up to, one more title defense at featherweight, then go up to lightweight to fight Islam Makhachev. I'm not kidding. Ilia Topuria said in his old press tour that he was going on, he believes he has to do one more title defense to prove that he's the true champion and that he's going to go up to lightweight to challenge. I think he's going to be fighting Max Holloway. He's going on and say that, hey, if I bring the UFC to Spain, the fights that I'm interested in doing are either Sean O'Malley, but then he kind of shot himself in the foot by saying he wants Merab to fight him first, so no O'Malley. Conor McGregor, that's not going to happen. Conor McGregor, I'm not even sure if he's fighting. Honestly, I think Conor McGregor might be done. I made a whole video on it, but then Conor McGregor says that, no, I'm not done. I was just saying, I don't know. But it's not going to be Conor. Conor has other contractual obligations. But then Ilia said, I would be interested in fighting Max Holloway. I think that's an interesting one, and I think if we're dealing with a Max Holloway that's coming off a fight with Justin Gaethje after building up weight and muscle to get up the lightweight, I could see a scenario where that weight cut's going to be harder than it usually is, and that chin is going to be suffering from the Justin Gaethje fight, whether it's a loss or a win. And I could see a scenario where Ilia Topuria is able to get a win against Max Holloway, because Max Holloway might be going into that fight slightly compromised, and if you're the champion, you're the one calling the shots. I could see a scenario where Ilia Topuria is like, okay, good job fighting Justin Gaethje, you ready to fight in 3 months? Okay, I guess we're fighting in 3 months then. I can see that happening. So that's the second double champion fight. Let's go up to lightweight. Islam Makhachev said that he wants to fight Leon Edwards. He wants to get, I believe he said 1 or 2 more title defenses at lightweight, and then he wants to go up to welterweight and challenge for the belt there. Whoever's the champion, he didn't really say Leon, but he said whoever's the welterweight champion, I'm interested in fighting them. This fight was offered. Islam Makhachev was offered a fight at UFC 300 against Leon Edwards, but he said no because of Ramadan. And listen, I know I sound butthurt whenever I've talked about that. Like, oh, Islam said no. He missed his opportunity. In all honesty, I do give him respect for sticking to his principles on there. There's a lot of UFC fighters that, well, I'm just going to say it, are not standing on their religious principles when it gets to that point. Like, if I offer you $5 million to go fight a belt upwards, you're going to be saying yes. Oh, it's during Ramadan? Oh, I got this. Islam Makhachev says, nah, we could do this later. You know what? Good on him. Good on him. That fight was offered, though. Like, let's not gloss over that. Even Chael made a dedicated video to that. Islam Makhachev was offered a fight against Leon Edwards despite not beating a lightweight. Like, I think he at least needs to beat one. But I think what Islam Makhachev is going to do is I think it's going to be Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier in June. And believe it or not, I could see a scenario where the UFC decides, hey, Bilal, fuck you. We're going to do Islam Makhachev versus Leon Edwards in December. You can go fight Shavkat. Have fun with that. Like, I can see that happening. And I can see the reason that I think Islam Makhachev, another reason why that fight was offered, is it's one of the few fights that even like fans like me that are advocating for Bilal to fight for the title, I'm leaving the banner at home, okay? Like, I'm not going to be like, well, Bilal deserved it. I'm going to be setting up and I'm going to be watching a masterclass of martial arts between Islam Makhachev and Leon Edwards. That's a fight that I've always wanted to see, and I hope it happens. And that deserves its own video, actually. But Islam Makhachev versus Leon Edwards was not just rumored, it was an outright confirmed offered fight. That's the third double champion fight. Let's go up a division. Welterweight. Has there been any, does anybody from 170 want to go up? Well, according to Ian Gary, if he becomes champion, he wants to fight Strickland. Does Leon Edwards want to go up? Leon Edwards has walked it back to the point that I don't think he wants to. I think he threw the idea out there and said, yeah, I'll go up and fight Strickland. When Strickland was champion, everybody wanted to fight Strickland at 170. Like, they viewed him as the easier fight. I think, in some scenarios, yeah. Like, I think Leon Edwards might have a harder time with Israel Adesanya than he would with Strickland. I still think Strickland would win, though. So, honestly, at this point, I think Leon Edwards isn't really interested in going up. I think welterweight is okay. There's no double champion fights, but there is Islam wanting to go up to welterweight. Bilal's has zero interest in going up. He has never once said it. Does Shavkat Rakhmonov look like the type of guy to want to go up to 1-8? Like, no. Shavkat's over here. I think he's just like, you know what? I'm going to be making a couple million defending the belt 5 to 10 times, and I'm going to retire to my homestead in Kazakh. That's what I think's going to happen with him. I don't think there's going to be a double champion fight at welterweight unless somebody's coming up. Now we go up to middleweight. Dricus du Plessis talked about fighting Alex Pereira. Now, Dricus has also said that he wants to get a few title defenses. We know things change. We don't even know who he's fighting next. The grand consensus in my comment section among, like, it's weird to say my fan base, is if the UFC goes to Africa, Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. If the UFC goes to Perth, Australia, like is rumored to be happening, then screw Israel. We're going to be doing Dricus du Plessis versus Strickland. I agree with that. I think that's fair. Strickland has zero interest going up. I understand it. He got flatlined by Alex Pereira. I wouldn't want to fight him again. But Dricus, whether it's stupidity or just having some big old cojones, he wants to fight Alex Pereira at 205. Israel Adesanya, I will die on this hill. If Israel Adesanya beat Strickland, the way things that were going on at that time, they were shaping up Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira at 205 for the trilogy. You cannot convince me otherwise. That was the plan. But Strickland ruined it. Kind of funny. So, I think if Israel reclaims the belt, I can see a scenario where Israel Adesanya versus Alex Pereira, if Alex Pereira beats Jamal, that's a fight that could happen. That's another double champ fight. Another one. And that's also a crazy trilogy. Like, I would like to see that fight at 205. I think Alex Pereira gets it done, though. Dricus du Plessis also wants to fight Alex. Strickland's the only person that could become champion that isn't interested. I know Khamzat's in the running. Khamzat, just win a fucking belt, dude. Beat a middleweight, please. Just stop. Stop. Okay. Go up to 205. Is there any double champion fights there? Yes. Alex Pereira's talked about going up to heavyweight to fight Tom Aspinall. I'm not kidding. Now, the one thing that I know somebody's going to say in the comment section, oh, well, Tom Aspinall confirmed that's not going to be happening. No, he didn't. So what Tom Aspinall said is, according to his team, Alex Pereira is not planning on going up to heavyweight anytime soon. That was a fight that I believe was offered for UFC 300 for Tom Aspinall, because they also offered Tom Aspinall Stipe Miocic for UFC 300, but Stipe said no. So they were trying to keep Tom Aspinall busy, and they offered him a place on the card. Now I think they're going to do UFC Manchester for him. So, well, does that deconfirm it? No, it doesn't. So, Glover Teixeira and the nutritionist of Alex Pereira have already confirmed that if Alex Pereira is going to go up, he needs to have a walk-around weight or bulk up to around 230. That makes a decent amount of sense. I mean, John Jones gained more weight, but it took him longer. Stipe Miocic is not a big dude. Honestly, he could cut down the 205. You don't have to be massive for heavyweight. Well, not yet. Gelton Almeida, as much as I call him a fraud, he did well. He did. But Alex Pereira, I think he will go up to heavyweight if he doesn't get a horrifically KO'd. But yeah, no, I think that doesn't deconfirm it. It just takes longer to gain 30 pounds. And finally, we're up to heavyweight. Tom Aspinall. Yes, no, I'm referring to Tom Aspinall, not John Jones, because John Jones isn't going down a weight class, and there's no weight class above. Tom Aspinall, again, has expressed interest in fighting Alex. Everybody wants to fight somebody that isn't the champion of their own division. And frankly, Tom Aspinall has to sort out who is the true undisputed champion at that division anyways, John Jones or Tom Aspinall, before we start talking about legacy title defenses, all that jazz. Like, we need to get that title picture fixed up. So, again, let's reiterate. Let's go over all the... let's cover women's MMA very, very quickly. Women's featherweight doesn't fucking exist. Women's bantamweight is kind of a joke of a division, which leaves women's flyweight and women's strawweight. So, Alexa Grasso versus Zhang Weili was already agreed to for UFC 300 verbally on Twitter, but they didn't want to do that. Instead, they do Grasso versus Shevchenko 3 for the Ultimate Fighter. So, yeah. I think Zhang Weili versus the winner of Valentina Shevchenko versus Alexa Grasso is going to happen. And that's another double champion fight taking over half of women's MMA. But half of women's MMA is garbage. So yeah, really the entirety of women's MMA. So let's go over the champions again. Sean O'Malley wants a double champion fight against Ilya. Ilya wants a double champ fight against Islam. Islam wants a double champ fight against Leon Edwards. And Leon Edwards doesn't really care. Really, I think we bullied him enough. Dricus du Plessis wants to fight Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira wants to fight Tom Aspinall. And Tom Aspinall needs to sort out what's going on in his own division. And Zhang Weili wants to fight Alexa Grasso. And Alexa Grasso wants to fight Zhang Weili. But the UFC doesn't want to sacrifice one of their few Chinese champions to get into that market. So that's why that fight didn't happen. That's 7 different champions that are trying to get a double champion fight in the organization. That's most of their champions. Yeah, and most of these fights are going to be rumored for the beginning to the end of 2025 is what it's looking like. O'Malley versus Ilya, 2025. Islam Makhachev versus Leon Edwards, he said 2025. Dricus du Plessis has to get done with Israel Adesanya or Strickland, but I think they're going to make him fight Hamzat. But again, it would be late 2025 for that. And Alex Pereira versus Tom Aspinall. If he beats Magomed Ankalaev and Jamal Hill, yeah, probably 2025, and then he retires. That's what it's looking like. And yeah, no, Zhang Weili versus Alexa Grasso could happen at any moment. It really can. It really can. We just got to wait for the Shevchenko and the Ultimate Fighter. But anyways, that's going to be it for the video. I just wanted to rant about how the majority of champions in the UFC aren't even looking to defend their titles. They're looking to get a double champion money fight. And at the end of the day, I don't hate all of these. I just dislike most of them. Tell me which one of the double champion fights would you be most likely to buy on a pay-per-view? And if you haven't already, please consider a like, comment, subscribe. Really helps me in the algorithm. And with that out of the way, thank you all for watching, and adios, guys.